Hello, everybody. Welcome to today's HDT and Pre-Pass webinar, Gain Visibility into Toll Charges to Maximize Operational Savings. And again, this is presented by Pre-Pass. I'm Jack Roberts. I'm Executive Editor for Heavy Duty Trucking, and I'll be your moderator for today's webinar event. Want to encourage everyone to ask questions. This is a new and emerging operational issue for fleets, so we anticipate a lot of questions. We will do our best to address them all. If we don't get to your question, don't worry. The Pre-Pass people are going to make sure you get an email response with an answer following up after the event. The agenda real quick. We're going to do an introduction. We're going to talk a little bit about Pre-Pass. We're going to talk a little bit about the complexities of tolling today and why toll visibility is important. And your Pre-Pass expert for these topics is Chandler Love. He's Senior Product Manager, Tolls, Pre-Pass. And Chandler, thanks for being here today. Tell everybody a little bit about yourself and then jump on into it.
Great, thanks, Jack. Yep, again, I'm here in representing Pre-Pass. I'm the Senior Product Manager over at Tolls. I have an experience in the transportation industry, financial management, as well as any some educational industries that I've been a part of as product manager and other tech companies here. And again, grateful for the opportunity to be here. So jumping over to talk a little bit about Pre-Pass. Pre-Pass, what we provide is we're actually the largest and only integrated provider of weigh station bypass and toll management services to really ensure that you're getting the data insights you need to make your business better. Pre-Pass today, we support over 105,000 fleets and 750,000 commercial vehicles with our Pre-Pass services. Pre-Pass is owned and operated by our Pre-Pass Safety Alliance, a nonprofit public-private partnership focused on commercial transportation safety. The Alliance has worked for the past 30 years on making highways safer and more efficient through innovative data-driven solutions. So today we're going to jump right into it. We want to talk about tolls and specifically around, to begin with, the rising cost of tolls. As you see on the slides here, definitely by region, you see the average cost per mile. In general, we've taken the average, and from 2014 to 2023, we've seen a 21.4% increase in those costs of tolls. And so it's something that we really want to make sure everyone's aware of, especially as you're running your business. Jump to the next slide here. Toll pricing is complex, and that's something that we want to point out. There's many variables, from equipment, the collection method, even to the dynamic variables that are happening, right? The time of day, the distance, the congestion that may happen on that toll road itself. Going back to the equipment side, right? It depends on the vehicle. What's the class? What type of device is being used within that vehicle? All these things make up the different pricing, and it's not something that's straightforward, and it's something that to be aware of.
Hey, Chandler, I think it's important. I'd like to know, tolling is becoming more prevalent. It used to be, at least in the Deep South where I live, fairly rare. Now it's fairly commonplace. And it's no longer simply about paying for access to a roadway anymore, is it? It's being used in a lot of new and innovative ways that fleets have to contend with today, correct?
Exactly. Yep. And that's why it's important to have that visibility into what those costs are, because they impact your bottom line. And it's something that we want to make sure you have visibility and transparency into to make the right decisions. Great. Going on to the next slide. Really, like you said there, Jack, it really depends on the area and the location, especially if you're expanding your business and you're getting new customers. The prices may drastically change. And if you're familiar with one side of the country versus the other, you really want to make sure you're aware of where those costs are according to those locations that those trucks are traveling to be able to include those into your estimates and your quotes. Make sure you're getting the profitability you're looking for. On the next slide, we wanted to point out here, really what we're talking about is as far as the number of toll facilities across the country. There's over 300 managed by 85 different operators. And all of these, right, are disparate systems that result in multiple account registrations, multiple in-cab devices, sureties, bonds, deposits, and customer service point of contacts that you need to deal with. That really translates for you into administrative costs of tolling, right? The cost it takes to research, pay on time. You don't have much views into those regional locations and those comparables. Closing a toll agency account without resolving it and opening another one doesn't make it go away. There's things that you need to be able to see and have visibility into to make sure that those costs aren't sneaking up to you or racking up. From an individual location standpoint, you may not be capitalizing on the total agency spend across those locations and those discounts. Estimating the toll costs versus the actual costs themselves is important, because the driver may encounter peak toll hours versus driving off hours, and knowing when those can be capitalized will make sure you're getting the best rate for the job at hand and what you're looking for. The other thing to look at is also tying up working capital on cash deposits versus a single surety bond is something that is a strategy that will help you make sure, again, that capital is working for you in the most effective way according to your business needs. Next slide. Something we want to point out, sometimes overcharges can happen, and it's important that you have visibility into that, right? Especially when max tolls are involved, you're being charged the max rate for that toll road. And if there's a situation where the vehicle left early, you'd want to know if that was being charged correctly or not, right? Especially when it comes to, again, that capital that you're looking to spend according to the profitability that you're seeing on that certain job, it can make or break the difference in those cases. So it's important to keep track of those things. And we also notice without a toll management platform, it's hard to do that. And that's something that we want to provide at PrePass.
Chandler, I think this is a good point. Just even people who are, in your daily life, I think we all sort of understand how chaotic tolling is. You've got, particularly during peak hours, people are in a hurry. They don't want to be holding anyone up. The transactions are often rushed. I'm on a business trip. I need a receipt. You forget the receipt. That leads to problems just for me with filing my expense report when I'm home. I've come back from trips before where I've had a transponder in a rental car and I've got a mysterious toll charge. I don't even know how to begin to address that as a private citizen. So for fleets, this is a daily problem that is compounded exponentially. Is that a fair assessment?
Definitely. Yeah. And you can only imagine at scale, right? Like you mentioned, and it's important that you have the visibility into what's coming in. And it's also, I'll touch on it a little later, but the time frames within that, right? It's not that you get it right away, that bill, it may come weeks or months later. And so to be able to consolidate that and know what your costs are and whether you're being charged the right price, to be honest, is something that you want to have visibility in to control that going forward. Yeah, great point. All right, we'll move on to the next one. The other thing is unsettled violations. It's one thing to, receive the violation, but you need to ensure it's being paid, right? And in the case of maybe you're not aware of that violation, there's some large, negative consequences that can happen, from vehicle impounds to credit impacts and obviously escalated fees. So it's important to know where you're at with those violations and make sure you're protected. So again, why is visibility into tolling charges important? Okay, again, we talked about it. The rising costs of tolls are there, and it's apparent, right? And they're going to continue to rise according to the demands that we have on the roads and the usage that are happening and the inflation that's in place. With that comes the administrative cost of keeping track of those tolling expenses that you have. And again, that's the time researching it, paying it on time, making sure you're getting in contact with the right agencies, finding those different contacts, ensure that's getting corrected, right? Again, going down to, you just can't simply close the toll agency account without resolving it. You need to make sure those get resolved correctly. And again, like I talked about, tying up that working capital with those different deposits is something that can really get out of hand without having a strategy to ensure you're doing that correctly. Moving over to the ability to compare toll spending, right? Being able to know, hey, are my costs going up? Comparing those month to month or year to year comparisons are important, and I'll talk about that a little later. And lastly, having the data to make sure you're making informed decisions for your business, that it's something that you're able to have confidence in, to know that this will impact you in a positive way, and be able to stay proactive on what you're seeing there as far as those costs. So we'll jump right into, the comparing the toll spending month to month and year to year. We have here on the slide, month to month account creep. Well, what does that really mean? And what we're trying to point out here is that it's easy to review something that's not normal within that month to month, because you've seen it, back to back there. And instead of looking back over several months, you're able to find, hey, there's some unassigned transponders here. Look at the maximum tolls that we're getting charged for, right? And then is there a gap in the plate coverage that we're seeing, whether it's on a vehicle or a trailer? And then you move to the year to year, there you're able to really evaluate your business actions of what you've done year over year, and whether that's your expansion of taking on new customers, or you're adding different routes. And are those routes that you've taken, are they helping or hurting your business, right? And you're really able to do an analysis on what routes are you going to be most effective with, not only from a time saving, but also from the costs that incur because of these tolls. That also includes the penalty and late payments within that year, right? Are those increasing? Are you able to cover those in the right way in order to ensure those don't increase? You have the fines. Toll companies also levy fines when trucks speed through a toll booth. So looking at where those speeding, incidents occurred, are those being handled? Are they being trained accordingly to be able to manage those fines that are coming in? And again, all tying back to, if there's any working capital that's in place for those cash deposits, are you thinking about that the right way? And are there, different ways to just have a single deposit that's covering you as far as the different tolls that are coming in as far as a toll management provider?
Hey, Chandler, a thought occurs to me on that slide. In PrePass's estimation, are we getting to a point where there is a driver training aspect in toll management, or is that something that you're talking? I know primarily for you guys, it's about managing this, but it just seems to me like this is an all-encompassing problem from an operational standpoint that probably ought to be talking to your drivers about this as well, right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it shares the light on what routes are they taking, right? If depending on your operations and how well you're tracking those, right? Are they taking the right routes, right? Is there speeding incidents where they're racking up fines that obviously are not going to help the company move forward, right? Even down to their CSA scores on safety, right? There's a blend into that to ensure, right? Our goal is to make sure people are safe on the roads, especially those carrying these vehicles with the amount of weight that they're being carried, right? It's important to look into those, and definitely those can translate to training opportunities for drivers and collaboration to ensure you're being as efficient as possible as a business. So yeah, definitely. Great point. So moving on to the next one here, you'll see a snippet of PrePass of what we provide as far as those month-to-month to year-over-year, views, to be able to drill in deep into a transaction and understand what is happening. All, again, to be able to make the correct business decisions. On the monthly side, what's working well? Are there areas where toll costs are unusually high, right? Are you seeing new customers coming through there? Or on the opposite side, are you seeing the driver speeding cases that are really racking up those costs year over year? Are you tracking your toll estimates versus actuals? And how are you handling regional versus consolidating invoicing? All those things are tools that we provide to help sure you get that visibility into that. Next slide. Really want to talk about, being proactive. Being proactive on these costs is key. Visibility into toll spend will help to uncover hidden areas where you may be spending a lot and really working against you as far as your goals for efficiency and profit margins. It's important to evaluate those business processes and the spends and the routes taking. Is it worth it to expand to certain areas? Is there certain routes that should be taken in order to capitalize on certain jobs or opportunities that you have within the market? Consolidating the tolling agency accounts to help drive that visibility will aid in that proactive planning and strategy that you'll have with yourself if you're one of the business owners or key stakeholders or those that you work with, right? And then obviously the working capital to remove those deposits from across multiple toll agencies and moving to a single deposit help preserve that capital to be able to expand your business and make a difference going further. But all in all, having that visibility to see that toll spend will drive that confidence in the accuracy of the toll spend that you're seeing, right? So you're confident in your business operations and your plan that you have going forward to be successful as a business.
Hey, Chandler, can a pre-pass customer who's really struggling with this, and in many ways, this is a new management area for a lot of fleets. You guys, gosh, now suddenly these toll charges are killing us. Can they reach out to pre-pass? Do you guys have people who can help them, counsel them, give them advice on, hey, maybe you need to start handling the situation like this. Maybe you need to manage it this way. Can you assist someone who's really having a hard time dealing with these issues?
Definitely. Yep. We have experts in-house that are all about that. And whether it's with our own tools or a simple phone call or chat or email, we're able to help out and provide different solutions that will, take you from where you are and really level you up to the next level. And you can choose the speed that you go, but some of the solutions that we provide will continue to be improved and really tapped into the amazing arena of technology that we have today for this industry. And we'll continue to push that envelope on the innovation that's provided to give you guys the best opportunities to be successful as a business. Yeah, great question. Moving on to the next one. Speaking of the confidence, right? It's key to have confidence in the spend that you have, right? It's one thing to guess or think, hey, yeah, I think we're spending about this, but it's another thing to know and have confidence in those numbers, right? So, we have a couple questions on here. Like, what if you could verify where your vehicle was when that toll charge was generated? Again, to get that confidence, right? Well, pre-pass, we offer a solution that utilizes GPS to validate when and where that vehicle was when it received that toll charge. And if a vehicle received a toll charge that was not your vehicle, for example, pre-pass will dispute that on your behalf, right? Tolls that may not meet your qualifications are then also placed in a review queue that can be reviewed to ensure, again, when you're going back to that comparing of data to know where things were and seeing if there's any trends in order to make sure you're making the best decisions going forward.
Chandler, I got another question. I'm intrigued.
Right.
We've talked a little bit about the chaotic nature of this. Is fraud a problem in the tolling sphere, or is it too soon to say, or just kind of a thought that just occurred to me? I know a lot of this is probably mistake driven because of the chaotic nature of just getting through the toll booth, but I could see that fraud could potentially be a problem.
Definitely. Yeah, at any point, right? I think we're all susceptible to that, and we'd like to do the best that we can to ensure that that's not not an option, but it is the reality that fraud is definitely out there. You have stolen vehicles that are happening, and so on our side, to be able to track those GPS coordinates and know that, hey, this truck was actually over here, and it did incur that toll, or it didn't, right? And you start asking questions of, wow, I didn't know that truck was over there. And you dig in deeper, and yeah, it looks like there was, an incident that happened, whether it was fraud or theft or anything like that. So again, having that confidence of where your vehicles are at and the toll spend that they are racking up is key to be able to continue to drive and have your success, in the business that you're looking for, as far as for the different profit margins you're seeing.
Okay, cool.
It's great. So next slide, again, I wanted to touch on this. So pre-pass, we have GPS-based toll verification. And really what this does, to boil it down, we use the GPS data to verify agency toll charges for all toll transactions and automatically resolve, those disputes on your behalf. Again, going back to the pains that were there of having to go through and know and track down the different transactions, and not having much to go off of whether the vehicle went through that or not, right? Again, we have evidence through GPS data to be able to know if that truck went through there or not. And again, the goal is to really deliver this unparalleled convenience and operational efficiency at a single point of contact for cost savings through a nationwide tolling network that we provide. And Prepass Tolls offers many benefits outside of this, and this is one that we wanted to touch on to ensure that, from a toll verification standpoint, this is a must for carriers to be able to know that a truck went where it was supposed to go and that it was charged the right price going forward, right? Some other big benefits that come along with this is the carrier receives 100% of the agency credits, right? Prepass is allowed to identify potential toll tag misuse or fraud, like you were referring to, and be able to crack down on that early before it becomes a massive issue that spirals out of control. And in the future, we're really driving towards opportunities to simplify transponder management and ensure that identifying those transponders to make sure they're in the right vehicles. Even from a simple case of going into the office and swapping a transponder by mistake, right, can mess with the numbers that you're seeing. And that's where we want to continue to crack down on that and ensure the right transponders are in the right vehicles, occurring the right cost that you're expecting, right? And that's the goal, is how can we close that gap to ensure you have an idea of what that cost is, almost to near real time, to be able to plan forward and pivot as needed as a business to ensure you're getting the accurate price that you're looking for, and to ensure that you're getting, more importantly, the margins that you're looking for your business. So to wrap things up, as far as a summary here, again, how can you maximize your operational savings? Really, you need visibility into the toll spending. And I hope I was able to share some things, that you may not have known, to really be able to see how important that is to have that visibility into your toll spending. Obviously, that's going to help reduce administrative costs. It's important to stop and do an evaluation on what's being spent to manage those tolls and those costs accordingly. And then compare the toll spending you're seeing month to month, year to year, to be able to make the best decisions for your business going forward, right? I would highly recommend looking into ways to validate the charges that you are experiencing and make sure you're confident in the numbers that you're receiving to be able to move forward with success and drive and scale in the way that you're looking for. And lastly, please contact us at Prepass. We're happy to help. We want to ensure that you are successful. And we take that seriously, especially with your tolling needs, to ensure you're getting everything you need and to be able to run your business and be successful into the future.
All right. Well done, Chandler. We've got some time remaining, so we're going to do some questions, and I'm actually going to ask one of you. We live in a time of great transformation right now. We know that automation is coming to this industry. Just generally, give us some idea of PrePass's thoughts on the future of tolling. Is it going to become more prevalent? Is it going to become more sophisticated? Are we going to see it sort of reach into new arenas? You know, I know it's being used as a congestion control measure in some cities in Europe. Just generally where you think the trend of tolling is heading, because it does seem to be making more and more headlines in the trade press, becoming an issue for fleets.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's obvious tolling costs are not going anywhere. And the way that those evolve will continue to be something to watch, because there's different ways for, you know, opportunities really for these fleets to ensure that they're being successful as far as, you know, the expenses that they're experiencing. And as far as the trends that we're seeing, you know, as more and more vehicles are on the road, and as these roads need more and more maintenance and opportunities to enhance the roadways, we'll continue to see, you know, those prices rise according to what we're seeing with inflation and the cost of goods and the materials needed to maintain those roads, right? But within that, what is exciting are new opportunities to be more efficient with the roadway uses, right? With that comes, you know, cost, especially when we're introducing new technologies that need to be put in place for those roads. But at a minimum, it's important that as a business you're aware of those costs, right? And no matter how they change, to your point, you know, PrePass is here to be able to build those solutions and be a partner with you to be able to have that awareness of where things are at and make a difference when it comes to not only your business, but opportunities to make the tolling arena better and more efficient for everybody on all sides, right? And that's what we're looking to do, is to be a part of that.
So we got a question here, which is actually a pretty pertinent one. We rent trucks during the busy season. We don't always have enough transponders to cover the new vehicles we bring in, the temporary vehicles, the rentals. What can we do to prevent tolling fines in this scenario? Can PrePass help there?
Great, yeah. You know, one of our basic products that we have is the ability to just cover the different plates that you have and have that coverage. So in the incident where there is a tolling violation that happens, we're able to cover you and ensure that's there, right? From there, we'd love to talk with you further to understand what opportunities can you have as far as getting transponders for that period of time to be able to get the discounts that apply with those and be able to take advantage of, you know, the nationwide coverage we have and the great partnerships we have with those toll agencies to be able to be efficient. So that's a great question.
So next question comes out of Drumco, Arkansas. I don't know where Drumco is, although I go duck hunting in Fisher. So shout out to Arkansas. The question is, does PrePass cover all toll agencies on a singular bill?
Great question. We do consolidate everything into one bill for that, and we're continuing to improve the way that's looked. If there's something specific that you would like to talk about around what you're seeing with the bill or what you'd like to see, I'm always going to throw that out, as far as we'd love to talk with you for ways to improve that and be able to give you what you're looking for as far as the different options there that we can provide.
Another good question here. As you know, there are fleet consultants, fleet management companies. And this question, how is PrePass better than the services I get from a fleet management company?
Yeah, great question. You know, again, PrePass, we're the only integrated bypass and tolling service provider out there, right? and we have the history and experience to be able to support coverage nationwide, right? What's different is because we're focused on that type of volume, we understand the different challenges that are happening within those agencies, right? And because of that, we're able to apply technology like we have with our GPS verification, for example, to ensure that you are confident in the pricing that you're seeing with those toll agencies, as well as those discounts that we can tap into for you according to, right, your situation. So I'd love to dive in deeper if there's anything else within that, outside of that, but those are some of the key things that we would differentiate from that, fleet management opportunity.
The same question, another question from the same asker is, do you charge a monthly fee? Are there fees for individual transformers? Just kind of, I think they're looking for some idea of what the pay structure is like for a pre-pass customer.
Yeah, it's really going to be case by case. And I would, recommend you reach out to us and we can walk through the scenarios. What we're looking for is to ensure you're being covered in the ways that meet your business needs, right? And we have different opportunities and different ways for that pricing to be applied to ensure that you're getting the most value from your situation, right? Whether it's a seasonal thing, whether it's full time, or whether there's cases of large scale application. That's something that we love to talk with you with and make sure we get that understood and get you set up with the correct plan for you.
Another question here. Can you explain what an agency credit is?
Great question. Yeah. So in cases for an agency credit where, let's say, for example, there was a mischarge where you were charged for the max toll, but we have proof that the vehicle left early and therefore qualified for a credit, where you would be getting that credit back in the case of you were charged that full amount. So that's an example again where the GPS toll verification is key to be able to close in on any of those opportunities that, hey, according to what we're seeing with the GPS coordinates, the vehicle left early, therefore, that max toll charge doesn't apply here. And as we go and dispute that for you in your behalf, that's when that credit would be available from the agency.
Looks like we got a question from a tolling hotspot in California. I have 8 regional locations with separate tolling accounts. Many of our trucks travel the same toll roads. How do I know if I'm getting all applicable tolling discounts for my fleet?
Yeah, great question. Again, moving to that singular, surety bond that we provide here at PrePass and being able to roll out the different transponders that we have will ensure that you're getting the most accurate price according to the demand and load that we have and the coverage that we have nationwide, right? And then additionally, throwing in the GPS validation piece on that, we're able to validate to ensure that the price that you occurred out of all those locations is the accurate price according to where that truck traveled.
All right. My team has recently seen an increase in maximum tolls. Can PrePass help me avoid these charges in the future?
Great question. Yeah, I think the best way to avoid those, if that's your goal, is to really analyze the data of the spend that you're seeing month over month, year over year, and even down to the route level of, hey, we're seeing a very high concentration of maximum tolls over here, right? Not that it's an error on the agency part, but one thing to consider as far as your business is that the most effective route to go through those maximum toll areas? And is there opportunities to do different routes in order to perform the same job that you're looking for in order to reduce those costs?
From California back to the great state of Arkansas, does PrePass use the same transponders we already have in the trucks, or do we have to get another transponder?
Great question. Without knowing your specific situation, we'd love for you to reach out. We can do a quick validation on transponders you do have. And in the case where we can save you money or it makes more sense from an efficiency standpoint, we are able to switch those out. So it's going to depend on a case-to-case basis. Again, feel free to reach out to us, and we'll ensure that you're getting the maximum value, both for the tolling side as well as the bypass weigh station side of the house. We want to make sure, however you're looking at that and your transponder use, that you're getting the most value there from what you have.
Another question, do we get extra toll discounts if we are a pre-pass customer?
Definitely. Yep. That's the value that we provide. Because we have that national coverage, we are able to pass down those discounts to our customers.
And then an inevitable question, I'm currently using a pre-pass competitor. How would you say you compare?
Yeah, great question. I would again go back to what I started off with. We are the only truly integrated provider for both bypass and tolling management. Okay. And what that means is that within that data set that we're providing for both services, we're able to capitalize on what we're seeing and be able to provide a more streamlined experience for our customers. On top of that, being able to innovate and provide new solutions like our GPS toll verification, it's unique in the market to be able to have that accuracy and confidence that you're getting the right spend according to GPS coordinates that we're collecting according to where your truck routes are going. So that's something that we'll continue to push and continue to innovate. And that's really how we work here at PrePass, is that we want to partner with you, and we want to make sure we understand your business and your situation. And in any cases where we can improve or build something new to make that more valuable for you, we will. And that's something we take very close to heart, as far as how we can help our customers be more successful within the businesses that they have and they operate in.
One more question. This one, one more question. We've talked primarily about tolling. There might be someone listening who doesn't understand your weigh station bypass services. So real quick, would you like to just sort of give everyone a weigh station bypass 101 synopsis?
Definitely, yeah. Again, not only the toll side is something we cover, but with the weigh station portion of it, we are able to help drivers get where they're going quicker, right? They'll be able to pull up to stations and with our services, get the opportunity to bypass that and drive through it according to the interactions that we provide within our mobile app, within apps, that we've built into other telematic service providers and ELDs. And it's a great opportunity to, again, maximize your efficiencies. We all know the time it takes to stop and pull into a weigh station and what that looks like, and the fuel cost associated to start back up and to get where you're going. So again, having both of these key pieces, weigh station and tolling services, within one solution here at PrePass, is really where we help enable you to be able to get where you're going quicker, be able to have better margins, and have a better driver experience, is really what we're looking for.
All right. I think we've run through the questions. That's all the time we have for today, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Again, if you did have a question, it didn't get answered for whatever reason, the PrePass people will be proactive on this. They will get you an answer as soon as possible. Hope you all enjoyed today's presentation. Hope everyone learned something. Definitely want to thank Chandler Love and PrePass again. Also want to mention this webinar will be available on demand on the Heavy Duty Trucking website at truckinginfo.com/webinars. Thank you. Hope everyone has a great day. Chandler?
Thank you very much, Jack. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate it.
Thank you.